Remember just a few years ago when the Metaverse was everywhere? It was going to be the next internet, right? A totally immersive 3D world for work, life, the whole shebang. It was this huge grand promise, and then, poof, it just kind of vanished. So what on earth happened? Okay, let's get into it.
In those early days, it was a total gold rush for digital real estate. I mean, people were frantically buying up virtual plots of land in worlds like voxels. Everyone wanted a piece of this new frontier. But here's the thing. Building a world is one thing. Getting people to actually show up and live in it, that's a whole different story.
You know, the vision, especially the one pushed by Mark Zuckerberg back in 2021, was just epic. The idea was we'd all strap on headsets, meet our coworkers in virtual boardrooms, and then, I guess, float over to digital parties as legless avatars. It was sold to us as the next great leap in how we all connect.
But yeah, that dream ran smack into a very, very expensive wall. This epic vision came with an absolutely epic price tag, and it turned into one of the biggest corporate blunders we've seen in a long, long time.
The number is just hard to wrap your head around. $70 billion. That's the total operating loss for Meta's Reality Labs division. This wasn't some small side project that didn't work out. This was a massive bet-the-company gamble that was just hemorrhaging money like you wouldn't believe.
And it wasn't slowing down. In the year 2025 alone, that division lost $19 billion. To give you some perspective, that is more than the entire annual GDP of Iceland. Just gone. These weren't startup costs, these were deep, structural losses for a product that just couldn't find an audience.
An analyst put it pretty bluntly in early 2026. The market just didn't want this VR-centric metaverse, at least not at the world-changing scale Meta was dreaming of. That huge breakthrough that was always just around the corner? Well, it never arrived.
And this is the part that's truly wild. Meta started dismantling the parts that were actually working. Take Supernatural, a VR fitness app they dropped $400 million on. It had a loyal following, people paying subscriptions, it was a genuine hit. But in 2026, they moved it to maintenance mode, which is just corporate jargon for letting it die a slow death. The message couldn't have been clearer. The original vision was officially dead.
But while this top-down corporate vision of a virtual world was completely collapsing, something else was happening. Another company was thriving by basically breaking all the rules. And that, of course, brings us to Roblox, which took a radically different path.
I mean, the difference here is just night and day. On one side, you have Meta's super polished, top-down world built for things like virtual meetings. And on the other, you have Roblox, messy, chaotic, sprawling, and unbelievably powerful because it was built almost entirely by its users, for its users.
And the results? They really speak for themselves. In just a single year, Roblox's daily active users shot up from 85 million to a staggering 144 million. They weren't just building a game, they were building a digital nation. This quote from the Roblox CEO just nails it. They weren't trying to replace our reality. Their whole philosophy was built around creating shared experiences, what he calls human co-experience. Turns out, that was the secret sauce the whole time.
So, if the big VR metaverse was a flop, where did all that technology and all that ambition go? Well, it turns out the answer was kind of hiding in plain sight. Instead of trying to replace the real world, the tech started to blend with it in much more practical ways.
Just look at the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. They're a success not because they're a gateway to some epic sci-fi universe, but because they solve simple, almost boring problems. People use them to record their kids' soccer game without holding a phone or get a live language translation while they're traveling. They assist reality. They don't try to let you escape it.
And you better believe this quiet success got noticed. By 2026, all the heavy hitters, Samsung, Google, Apple, they're all jumping into the smart glasses race. The entire industry has pivoted. It's not about virtual reality anymore, it's about augmented reality.
But this whole evolution wasn't just about the spaces we inhabit. It was also about what we own. And while owning virtual land kind of fizzled, that core idea of digital ownership found a new, much more powerful purpose in the real world.
It's all happening through this thing called Real World Asset Tokenization, or RWA. It sounds complex, but it's pretty simple. You take the ownership rights to a real physical thing, like a painting or a building, and turn it into a digital token you can trade easily on a blockchain.
And this is happening right now. A company called JP3E, for example, is taking a $300 million collection of rare art, some of it thousands of years old, and tokenizing it. For the first time in history, this means literally anyone could own a small, verifiable piece of a priceless artifact. How cool is that?
And this is not some tiny niche idea. Boston Consulting Group thinks this market could be worth, wait for it, $16 trillion by 2030. We are talking about a fundamental change in how we think about owning and trading valuable things.
So, what's the takeaway here? Well, that single, unified metaverse we were all promised? It's dead. But in its place, something way more interesting is growing. The idea basically shattered into its component parts, the pieces that actually work and have value in the real world.
So this new, fragmented future really has 4 faces. First, you have these massive, creator-led social gaming worlds like Roblox. Second, you have augmented reality putting a digital layer on top of our physical world. Third, you have this new form of digital ownership for real stuff. And the thread that connects all of them? It's technology that integrates with and helps our reality, instead of trying to replace it.
So maybe the metaverse was never supposed to be a destination. Maybe it's not a place you go to at all, but instead, it's just a new layer of technology that's slowly, quietly being woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. What do you think?